I ain't doing nothing. Dude, why y'all getting up in my business?
Why are you trying to hide?
I ain't trying
what
to
you
hide
told
nothing.
me you were going to stop doing.
Damn.
Man.
Dude, you are intense.
When it
Do
gets
the
to about
last
1 minute
15
till
minutes.
showtime,
Woo.
and then you want to chit
Oh.
chat on the phone. Do all of that before you
I
get
did a live stream while Ron was over here
panicking.
angry,
I wasn't angry.
kind of.
I was panicking.
I'm feeling it. Son of a bitch. All right, let me pull this up. Doc Skinner on the program tonight, kids. What's the cool thing about having guests like Doc is you can go just about any damn direction
Anywhere
you
you want.
Yep.
Yeah, for those of you who aren't into politics, be careful. We may broach it today, so you don't have to agree with it. It's part of who the guest is, so we may talk about something.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to the chat room, we have Miss Holly Ann, Roger Rabbit, Audrey. We have brother Sean Phillips in the house. We also have the Knights who say nigh. Linda. I don't care. What up, Linda? Let's see here. We have Miss Jamie Christopher. How you doing? Doc is a master of all. Didn't you say that about me, Audrey?
She probably did.
That's some traitor shit right there.
All right, 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mary Mansfield has just entered the chat. Let's rock and roll. Knee. See, he said knee.
That's what I was
Like shishi knee. Hong Kong shishi knee. All right, we good. We
should be good.
Lucky Smith, what's happening?
We should be good. It feels good to be back on the air.
In the Berg. All right, let's rock and roll. Hey, share this out. Let everybody know what's going on.
Yep, please do.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to share this to, should I share that? Can you share it to the Facebook page?
Yeah, I probably can. All right, 20 seconds. Here we go, folks.
See, I'm already too stressed out. I can't do it. Turn on the radio.
627-3988. 800-627-3988. 800-627-3988. That's 800-627-3988.
Journey into the matrix of the mind. Stretch your imagination and challenge reality. Abnormal realities are beacons for the imagination. What society deems abnormal may be more real than we think. This is Abnormal Realities with your hosts, Ron Phillips and Rocky Stucci.
All right. Oh, dude, thank you.
You got the finger point, like, he stops.
Did you hit the button?
I hit it.
No, dude, that was an over-the-shoulder boulder holder.
I was like,
boom, over the shoulder. I felt it. I had a whole different thing. I was gonna talk shit, like right off the bat. And then all of a sudden I saw the finger come over the shoulder. I'm like, oh, that threw me off just a little bit.
Get after it, he said.
Hey, folks, welcome to the program. This Monday night, man, we are back. Ron Phillips is walking.
I'm walking. I'm not dead.
Dude, you're rough, man.
Dude, I'm still waiting on something to come back from the hospital or from the doctor to tell me I'm not going to die, but we'll keep our fingers crossed there.
So you didn't like my advice because you didn't even respond to it, which I was a little bothered by.
Which was what?
About
Get the
taking
butter
a
knife?
No, that too.
No.
About the bath. About taking a bath in salt.
No, I don't take baths.
Dude, you have to learn to be different.
I guess.
It's a good way
what
to
kind
cleanse,
of salt?
dude.
Just like salt?
Get some Epsom salt.
Epsom salt, I guess you're right.
Yep.
I've heard that before.
Get some salt that smells like roses, bro, and your butt smells like roses when you get
I don't
out.
do baths, man. I just stand in a hot shower for about 20 minutes.
I'm not a big bath guy either, but sometimes, especially the salt. The salt is the key. You know how...
or when Lisa's in it.
All of a sudden, a man who don't take baths
Yes,
real
that's
quick. I'm like, oh, wait, what? Oh.
That's right. He's all getting from the door to the tub.
Gone, like 2 seconds. You've never seen it before, except if you watch Superman when he just kind of throws everything off. But anyway, folks, man, we love you guys. Thanks for your patience. Brother Phillips, he's coming back. He's coming back to life. He's
working on it. I'm working on it.
But we got a lot happening, a lot going on. We're going to start the new year out strong here. We are working on a lot of things about the Gettysburg trip. about getting over to Arizona. If we don't get into the gold field, we're still going that direction because we're going ghost towning. You know what I mean?
Got to go ghost towning.
We're going to go
We
ghost
might
towning.
stop in Vegas on the way.
Maybe. There might be a possibility. I'm feeling good about that.
Good.
If I die,
That's what I'm talking about.
his fault.
Okay. It's all good. At least you will have seen it once.
Okay, and before we bring our guests in, just one more quick thing. When we get to Vegas, we are going to give a night to all of you. And we are going to go to the streets of Vegas, and we will accommodate your double dares.
No. I might accommodate shaking your hand and hugging you, but I'm not.
No,
I'm not accommodating
No.
double dares in Las Vegas.
they are going to give us challenges.
And
while
we
we're-
get to decide whether we're going to do them or not.
decide.
Yeah.
But it has to be reasonable.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like take your pants off and go put your balls in somebody's nose.
That's what happens in Vegas. That's why shit stays in Vegas.
I'm going. So, anyways, bring him on in, Ron. You know, we have a great community out there. and I did warn Brother Doc before the program. I just said, brother, just so you know, I get in trouble all the time. I get in trouble all the time for the
He
things
does.
that I say. And he said, perfect. He said, perfect. But Doc Skinner, you guys know him from social media. You guys know him from over at TikTok. This brother, Audrey, got a hold of us last week, and she pushed us. She said, you got to get Doc on. I'm like, you don't even need to say anything. Just get a hold of him. Tell him to come out. We want him. And the reason why we love guests like Doc is because the fact is that they're rounded. And you know those kind of people where you can, at any given time, have a conversation about anything and just go
Anything, yep.
into the rabbit hole. You know what I mean? And so for the first time, I want to welcome to Abnormal Realities, Brother Doc Skinner. How you doing, man?
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. Forgive me for the sunglasses sinus thing, and my eye was swelling
Yeah.
up, and I didn't want to be. You know,
Hey, man, you look cool.
I'm kind of jealous.
You're kind of badass looking. I'm just saying.
I'm hoping the Dayquil will kick in here in the next 20 minutes, and I could take them off. But right now, it's just kind of swelling. But yeah, thanks for Audrey making this happen. I appreciate her hooking me up with you guys. This is really awesome. And I love the fact that it's such a wide spectrum that we can discuss. So I'm coming in with no idea of what's going to go on
That's
tonight,
perfect.
and that's what I love.
If it's abnormal,
So-
Doc, you're welcome to bring it on. Hell, sometimes even if it's normal but sounds abnormal, just bring it on.
Yeah. Hey, so I when I first years ago started doing radio, I called the show EBN, Everything But Normal. And everybody's like, well, why'd you call it that? I says, because I could talk about anything, because everything in our reality is not effing normal at all.
Correct.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
correct.
So
Yes.
let's jump in, and I love the fact that we go on cold like this, because this is how we like doing things. But last week you were there for a couple shows. We made the attempt, right, to get into some conspiracies. Lots of times we only kind of ruffled the surface a little bit. And brother, a lot of the times we have some of the conversations we have isn't to a manner that we're trying to convince people how to think or to change the way they think. All we're trying to do, and I know you do this a lot, and this is why I'm bringing it up, we're just challenging people to think beyond the norm of what they're taught. You know what I mean? Right. Kind of step out the box, look at worlds from a different perspective, because you see things differently. And there's a lot of things, to where I look at some of my views I had 4 or 5 years ago, and I get kind of mad at myself, because I'm like, why didn't I think about all these? How can I be so strong in one opinion without understanding the opinion of another? You know what I mean?
Right.
So last week we tried doing the conspiracy stuff, and we brought up JFK.
Mm-hmm.
And to my understanding, you have also done a little bit of research in
Yeah.
the JFK. Oh,
Okay. Whatever research you've done, spill it.
yeah.
I'm in.
It's wide open here, brother. Wide open. I may be
Well,
talking about one JFK, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm a big JFK conspiracy theorist, or JFK, how you say it, researcher. There you go. From the assassination side. And I know there's the JFK Jr. side, and I've recently gotten into that. So either of those two you want to talk about, we're open. We'd love to have the conversation.
Yeah, well, one thing that I did come across recently, I was actually a documentary that pointed out something that I think everybody overlooked is when the first shot came from the book depository, they say, they talk about the magic bullet, how it twisted and turned.
Right.
Well, when they went to court and everything, they showed the cars. Connolly and Kennedy were directly behind each other when in fact they weren't.
Yeah, because the
Connolly
jump seats,
and
the jump
were
seat
moved
was, yep.
inward. And so he would have lined up for that single bullet. And it could have, but the whole bullet on the bed, that was just a distraction. So
I agree.
But yeah,
with that.
I'm from Arlington.
What? Are you really?
I grew up in Arlington. I went to Lamar High School.
Fantastic.
And I even almost got an internship at KLIF. So
KLIF.
Yeah, I'm like, dude,
I've had a couple of shows on KLIF. We live over here in the South Fort Worth area. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I lived over in Fort Worth for a stint before I moved up here to the mountain. So,
dude, that's pretty badass.
That is badass.
That is.
Yeah.
I almost kind of feel like we got something already. You know what I'm saying, brother?
No, I started in the entertainment industry at Six Flags over in Texas when I was 15. Lied on my app that I was 16, but started there and then went to following summer. I went and did a summer at SeaWorld. And then after I graduated high school, I moved to Florida and I worked for Disney, Universal Studios. I did some Spielberg stuff and also DJ'd. That was like my, people have like a bartending job as a side thing. Mine was always DJing.
Yep.
Got recruited over to Disney, Pleasure Island, did that. And conspiracies were starting to build with me back then. I actually started in 1990. My very first conspiracy theory was the cell towers when they started putting them up.
So let me ask you that. Right. Let me ask you that. What was the pivotal moment? Because it takes a leap of faith to go from the indoctrinated norm to jumping into some of these rabbit holes. And like I told Ron, like I told Scotty Roberts, lots of times you go in, brother, there's no turning back. You know what I mean? Because you start realizing that a lot of the information that you obtain is actually factual stuff, and it's crazy. So what was your pivotal moment to make you get into the cell tower situation or the...
a friend of mine, we were, I think, juniors, seniors, and they started putting these cell towers up. And my friend had brought a VHS tape from this group called the Prophecy Club. Ever hear of them?
No, but it's a cool name.
Never heard of the Prophecy. They were before Art Bell.
This was early 90s, right?
Right, correct.
I vaguely remember the Prophecy Club.
And the only way, and there was no internet yet, really, not real. It was just starting, but
that was back in the Faces of Death time frame. Do you remember
Hell
Faces of Death?
Yeah, I remember Faces of Death.
Have you got a certificate if you made it through the movie?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I never made it. Dude, the whole monkey thing, watching people smash a monkey in the head with the freaking bat and then eating its brains, dude, I was done, man.
Yeah. Well, I was young and fearless and immortal back then, so I feared nothing. Now, years later, I'm an old man. I'm like, I can't deal with that stuff.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah, that was that and an experience I had, and I'm trying not to steer too far because we're going to go back to JFK.
Yeah.
And I have a bad problem with that where I forget where I'm going, so just keep me in line. But I had an encounter when I was 3.
Oh shit,
bro! Sacramento, California, and I've told this story before, so it's I'm not traumatized by it anymore. But I was abducted when I was 3 years old. Twice actually. What? And one time was not an alien. I was abducted by a guy who took me from the community pool. He came up and sat next to me and said, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm fine." He goes, "Hey, I work with your dad." I said, "Oh, you're a pilot in the Air Force too?" And he goes, "Yes, I am." And he wanted me to come pick you up. He put me on a bicycle with a little seat and drove me around to get me lost. Then we ended up at his place, and there was 2 little girls there in white gowns, one blonde, one dark hair, and they were, looking back at it now, they were just broken. They were just like this, standing in the living room. And he said, "Go over there and play the toys in the corner. I'll be with you in a bit." And he took one of the girls and went to the bedroom, closed the door. And I sat down. And you remember the speaking spells?
Yeah.
Okay. They had one. That was the year it came out, 76, 77, something like that. And I looked at it, and I can say shit, right?
Yep.
Shit you not. It said "Run home now" on the screen. So I get up, I walk to the front door. He did not lock it, and I walked out. I wandered around, and then the search party found me. And because I was lost, I couldn't tell them where exactly I was. But I've always been traumatized, or haunted by those two little girls.
Damn.
And then that same year, so that I almost got pulled into sex trafficking, and then that same year I had the other experience, which was not. I mean, it was.
Doc, you said this was when you were 3?
3 years old in Sacramento, California.
I don't remember jack shit when I was 3.
You'll remember stuff like that.
But it's trauma.
Yep.
Yeah.
This you remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was a 2-story house on Starino Way in Sacramento, California. And my bedroom was above the garage at the front of the house, and my parents' room was on the back. And I was asleep. I woke up. It was pitch dark in my room, except it was daylight outside. So I get up, I look out the window, and my grandmother is out there with her car, and she's like waving me down, saying, "Come on, it's time to go. We're going to go to the park." I'm like, okay. I turn around, the room is pitch black. I mean, it's nighttime. Open the hallway door, I go down the hall, I get to the top of the stairs, and I'm about to take a step.
Camera.
And my body.
Oh, it looked like your camera was falling. Sorry.
Sorry.
That's all right.
It's an AI camera.
Oh, I was following. I was like,
was-
dude, it is. What the?
Yeah, it's Ubisoft or OBS soft from OBS software, and it has AI on it. So my body was up like this, and then it just kind of slowly went like this,
Damn.
and then hovered. And my parents had just put in a swimming pool, so were teaching me how to dog paddle, and it felt like I was floating. So I dog paddled down the staircase. I get to the bottom, my feet come to the ground, and there's a light source like on the ground, but no source of light. I mean, it was just like I couldn't tell where the light was coming from. I go to the front door, and I open up the door, and it was like a big bright flash, and then it was just nighttime. California neighborhood street, and then you start hearing crickets. So I'm like, grandma. I go out on the patio, and I'm looking around. I don't see anything. I go back inside. I close the door, and I make it about 2 to 3 steps up the staircase. And my father comes around the top of the staircase with his rifle pointed at me, with my mother leaning over his shoulder.
What?
And I got a big lecture. They thought I was sleepwalking. Fast forward years later, I'm 16. I'm on a plane with my dad, and he was talking about Mayan temples. For the first time he ever talked about any kind of weird stuff, because he was a pilot, Air Force guy, very military. And I said, "Well, Dad, since we're talking about this, let me ask you, do you remember that night you almost shot me when I was a kid?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I told him my side of the story. And he said, "There's something that's always bothered me about that night." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "All the locks. My dad had 5 locks on the top of the door, chain link, bolt, turn, all that. He was a big security buff." And he says, "There's no way you could have reached that. You're only like 3 feet tall."
Oh.
So something happened. Now, that haunted me for years. And then the X-Files came out when I was in high school, and it started triggering things.
Oh.
And so for years, I believed I was an abductee. And I was married for a very short period of time. And my ex-wife one morning was massaging my back on the bed, and she found a bump. And so she thought it was like a zit or something. So she started working on it. And
that's what they do. There's something about that shit, man, where they
can't
just
help
always
themselves.
want to pick your damn back.
I know. But when she did, she pulled out this little rock metal looking thing.
What?
Very small. And it was just weird. And we kept it in a little Ziploc bag, but lost it in a move. But the day she took that out of my back, and that was 20 years ago this year, I haven't had a dream since. And before that, my mom will even tell you, I would always have night terrors. I'd wake up, sheets teared everywhere. Now I go out, and then I wake up.
No.
20 years.
So do you think?
But I dream all day while I'm awake, so that's
Yeah,
how I
right.
do the stuff that I do.
Do you
Now
think?
JFK? Huh?
No, I was gonna say, do you think there's like a mechanism in your brain because you had night terrors? Because I deal with nightmares. I deal with really weird, intense dreams. Do you think somehow, even at a subliminal level, that maybe you programmed yourself somehow to block out those dreams, so you only go to a certain depth of sleep that doesn't allow you to get into a dream state? Or do you think it just?
I believe that is possible. When I say I don't dream, I wake up with no recollection.
Yeah,
of
right.
anything, just in out.
See, that's me. I have zero.
but
I know
I do
I
know.
dream, but I have zero recollection.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of sucks, but at the same time, after 20 years, if I was to go to sleep tonight and I had any kind of dream, I would wake up probably freaking out, having
It would
trouble,
freak me
like
out.
the matrix going between reality and that.
Yep.
Because I haven't experienced it so long. Because I do. I dream all day while I'm awake. You know, I'm a visionary. I visualize stuff all day long. I create, and I don't know. It's just weird. Ever since that happened, and I've been pulled into it. Now over the years, since they had the last X-Files season 10, when they really just went off on those monologues, just spilling their guts of all the intel they had. It made me wonder that maybe I wasn't abducted by aliens, because I was an Air Force brat. My dad had top secret clearance. He did a lot of things. I could have been just an experiment. I'm not saying exactly that's what happened, but it's very, very possible, because I've heard of other people and I've had weird flashbacks of things that, I don't recollect as happening to me, but yet I feel like that's happened to me. So maybe it could be that stuff that's blocking, because our brains do that. That's part of the mechanisms when you have trauma, to take you to your happy place or suppress it. I think that is like an automatic program in our binary computer here. But not binary, but
Dude,
biological.
everything he's talking about is freaking me the hell out right now, because my early life was similar to his. Now, I don't recall any abductions or anything like that, but my mom's told me before that my early life may have been too traumatic, which is why I don't remember a lot of it, because I don't remember a lot of my early years. And the whole thing about dreaming, I remember when I was young, I used to have nightmares and night terrors, and I would sleepwalk all the time. But after a certain period, I just stopped, and I think I've blocked them out. But I don't watch scary movies either, so
something that could trigger it.
abducted.
Yeah,
I just don't.
You were abducted.
and
Probed.
I want to do some, what do you call that, hypnosis, that regression stuff?
Are you sure?
hypnotherapy.
Hypnotherapy, yeah, I'd love to do
Have you done that, Doc?
It's funny. I am actually. I've gone to see a therapist just to do that. I said,
Really?
I'm happy with my life, but I want to know, and I try to be realistic, because I'm in the entertainment industry. I create things out of my mind.
Yep.
I have a very active imagination, but I think I'm old enough now that I can say, am I making this stuff up in my head?
Yep.
Or did it really happen? So she's going to help me try to put me on. I've never been put under before, so I don't know if I'm able to be put under.
But you're willing, so that's a good step, actually.
Yes. So we can see if the night abduction thing, if that was, because what my dad told me about the locks, for a while I was like, it was just a really bad dream that haunted me forever. But when my dad said that, I'm like,
It was
really
real.
happened.
Yep.
So I want to find the root of it. Was it an abduction, or was it possibly a military experiment? Because after that happened, I was able to know things and do things that kids my age weren't able to do.
Right.
So,
hey, brother.
I just want to know. I just want to know.
We have a couple minutes left here, but I want to throw this in while we're on the subject. So, I went through a treatment for PTSD called EMDR or EDMR. It's one of those two. It has to do with it's it's the simplest thing, bro. I mean, you put this rubber probe in one hand and you put another rubber probe in this hand, and then there's these lights, this like a K2 meter, these lights going all the way across and they change colors. And all you do is you hold these probes and you can't move your head, but you roll your eyes with the, it goes all these different directions, and you just follow those lights and you keep your head straight. So it's eye movement. So it's triggering something in your brain to make the left part of your brain talk to your right part of your brain, and your right part of your brain talk to your left, and it pulls up suppressed memories.
No
Dude,
way.
Wow.
It was the most horrifying experience I ever had. I'm telling you, because you want to talk about suppression. Your brain, dude, it just, to protect you, it just buries some of the most traumatic events. So when I did this treatment, I thought it was going to bring up things that I thought it was going to talk about, the things that, more current shit, right? I started doing this. I think the first 20 minutes in, I was broken down on the damn floor, because it's like, how in the hell did I remember that? And that's what it does. That's what it's designed to do.
No
So
kidding.
people with PTSD, they go do this treatment, but boy, man, you got to be ready to face it, because you have no idea the can of whoop ass that you're opening up in the old toboggan. You know what I'm saying?
It's like Luke walking into that tree cave thing where he fights himself, and Luke Skywalker.
Who's
Star
that?
Wars.
Come
The
on,
Star
dude.
Trek thing, bro.
Star Wars. Come on. See,
Dude.
he does this to
Dude.
everybody.
Come on. Come on.
He does it to everybody, Doc. All right, Doc, stick with us.
Oh
we'll be
my
back.
God, that
we'll
was
be back
funny
in
as
about
shit,
2.5
dude.
minutes. Stick with us.
That's perfect.
Just stay with us. That you scare the hell out of people every time somebody goes, Luke Skywalker. Who? What?
So that's the extent of that. What I know, though, you got Luke, and then you got the Chewbacca dude, and then you had that big slime ball who always had hot chicks in chains.
Jabba the Hutt.
That dude.
You're welcome.
And then the little Ewok thing. I remember all those as a kid, but the stuff you guys talking about, like these one dudes that go into a damn telephone booth and they time travel. I mean, that's shit.
That's Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
Yeah. Doctor Who.
Oh!
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you
Damn.
for joining us on Abnormal Realities tonight. Our special guest is Doc Skinner, and he'll be with us coming back after the break. We got some other things we want to talk about, because I got to get back to this JFK thing. Take us home.
Folks, Abnormal Realities. Love you guys. Petey, let's go talk. Peace.
At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logoed designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion, or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com, or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design, and we'd be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Abnormal Realities.
All right. So let's see. Oh, this is a cool one. You may affect magnetic phenomena that makes credit cards unreadable after you've been carrying them. Do you have a problem with your credit cards?
I do not.
He is not a slider.
I'm not a slider.
All right. And number everything that's no more numbers.
What are you doing? I'm just thinking about how much of a train wreck we are.
Give me a hug.
No, I'm not hugging you. God, how long does this show get it on? Can't believe you got to the end of the story and you went, humana, humana, humana. There are no more numbers. What?
I thought there's another one. I tried playing it out. It rolled over on me.
Abnormal Realities.
Every time I look at the clock, the break gets further away. I don't understand.
With Ron and Rocky. 8 p.m. Eastern. Mojo 50.
He finally did it. Welcome back to Abnormal Realities, folks. I'm Ron Phillips. That's Rocky Stucci. Our guest tonight is Doc Skinner. We'll get back to Doc here in a moment. I just have a question for Rocky Stucci.
Dude, both of those abduction stories are equally horrifying.
The girls in the gowns are freaking me out, honestly. Because I may or may not have some experience with something like that, too.
What? Girls
Yeah,
and guns?
I didn't remember it until he said something like that.
See, dude,
I'm not even joking. I'm
we
not
are
even
having
joking.
a session right
We'll
now.
we'll continue the session.
You need a hug?
All right, I want to know who your favorite Star Trek character is.
My favorite Star Trek character?
Yes.
Shoot. I got so many of them. It's so confusing.
He doesn't
All
know the
right,
difference.
my favorite Star Trek character is Chewbacca.
Then there's what I mean. He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. It's not Chewbacca, by the way. It's Chewbacca, Chewie,
Why do they call him Chew?
and that's Star Wars. Star Trek.
Wait, why do they call him Chewie?
Chewbacca,
Well, why?
because he's Chewbaccan.
Oh, he's Chewbacca. I want to be Chewbaccan.
He's Wookiee. He's a Wookiee.
What's a Wookiee?
He's a Wookiee. Oh, let me bring Doc in because I'm going to
No.
No,
For real.
I'm going to need this help. I'm telling
What
you.
is a Wookiee a real thing?
Yeah, Doc, help me on this, would you?
What?
All right. Chewbacca is a Wookiee
Thank
from an ice planet, and he flies the Millennium Falcon, which
know what that
looks
is.
which looks just identical to the Baltic Sea anomaly.
Yeah.
in the ocean. And they say that if you do into remote viewing, Major Ed Dames, who broke remote viewing on our bell, I got to see him, spent actually 20 hours with him in Vegas. And after a few drinks late in the evening, I said, dude, what's the most favorite thing you've ever remote viewed? And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, Bigfoot.
Oh,
He goes, Bigfoot
What?
is not from here. Bigfoot is from another planet, and they come here to vacation with dimensional portals, and they do work with the aliens.
Boom! I knew it. I'm a Bigfooter too, dude. I love Bigfoot, UFOs,
Hold on.
all that stuff.
Hold it.
Oh, I know what you're about to get. Go get him.
what?
Look at you,
Oh,
son of a bee. Let me get.
damn.
Oh, hang on. What happened?
Hold on.
Hang on, Doc. Stay with us. What did I do?
I don't know what you just did.
Where is he? Can see. What did I do? Oh, I clicked it.
Anyway.
All right, I'm gonna get you a full screen. There you go.
Oh,
Show that
damn.
again. Look at that.
This is
Dadgum, dude. That
22
thing's
22 inches. And unfortunately, the camera, I'm disappointed in the camera. It's supposed to be a 4K camera.
yeah.
You can see, where is it? Right there. That's the little toenails.
What?
The
Yes.
little
Good
toenails.
Lord.
So not only do I have this one,
Damn. I just got to say, man.
Look at that.
Dude, with something with feet that big, could you imagine how big his junk is?
How? Oh my God. Oh my God.
now,
Look
two
at
of
that.
these came from near the Apache Reservation here in Arizona. And then the third one came from the Oregon-California border up in the mountains.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're pretty big.
That's
so
big as
I
hell,
haven't been able
dude.
to authenticate them. Now, these were given to me as a gift. The man that casted these, he passed away. And my friend Barb, she kind of inherited it, but she was like, I don't know what to do with it. You want them. So I want to build a nice case for them
Absolutely.
so I can light up
Yeah.
the edges. But yeah, here's the thing. George Lucas and some remote viewers probed George Lucas's mind during the time he was writing Star Wars and discovered he was writing from memories from a previous life. And that's how he knew about, the Wookiee and being, Bigfoot, incorporating that. Also, how the Death Star, Darth Vader's Death Star planet looks identical to the moon of, isotopes or something.
I bet you
It's
Audrey.
more
No, I bet you Audrey put it in the chat.
around Jupiter or Saturn. And it is a sphere, but it has a ridge all the way around it, and then one big flat crater. It looks identical to the Death Star. And that was just discovered like 10 years ago. So he was seeing stuff that's being discovered now back in the 70s. So kind of like Spielberg, when Spielberg worked with Hynek, and
It's a moon called Mimas.
Thank you.
It's a Saturn.
Dude,
It's a Saturn moon discovered in 1789. Holy crap! Look at that.
It does look like it. Oh, it looks weird. Looks like an
Yeah,
eyeball
and if you
right
pull up the Baltic Sea UFO,
I already did that.
Yeah, and yeah, it's basically that. So,
So
Wow.
you
Anyway,
think
so
there's
yeah.
you think there's more subliminality in this, in all of this, with the, because you often wonder, you go back to like Star Trek, and that started in what, the 50s,
Yeah, early 60s.
started in the 60s.
60s?
And it was Gene Roddenberry was a comic book artist, and he had a buddy that he grew up with, and every year they would meet at the cabin, go fishing, drink cognac, smoke, and his buddy actually worked with, is it OSI, the original Men in Black back in the Roswell days? Anyway, he was one of those guys, and he was telling stories to Gene, and Gene was like, the world's got to know about all this cool stuff. He was like, if you want to wake up tomorrow, you keep quiet. So he found a loophole and told this technology through the auspice of science fiction. So that's why we see so much technology that was in the old shows we have today.
Right.
But yeah, being in the entertainment industry for 30, going to 38 years now, it's kind of like being the powerful Oz behind the curtain.
Yeah.
You know the mechanics of what's going on. So when I see movies, like just last night, I watched Matrix,
Resurrection.
the new one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I did too. I watched it yesterday.
yeah, so I mean, it's a good movie. I was happy with it, but there was just some changes that I was like, maybe I wouldn't have done that.
Yep.
But the fact that they were telling you through the script,
Yep.
it was like a script within a script, telling you facts about the real world and getting it out there where they would normally be censored, but doing it through the auspice of media, through
That's
film.
brilliant,
through
actually.
art.
That's actually
And
brilliant.
that's the thing, though, is that it's been done for millennia.
Oh,
because
Independence Day, Close Encounters of the Third
it's all the
Kind.
way back.
Yeah.
Well, not just movies, but books,
Yep.
newspaper articles, any way that they can influence people.
It's all a form of disclosure.
And what is another great one is political cartoons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're getting away with saying something that you would probably get in trouble for saying, but doing it through something funny. So that's when I see movies and films and TV series, like most of them are out now. It's almost blatant, the stuff that, like in the Matrix, where it's just right in your face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. In plain sight all the
and-
time.
Right. And with media and movies, they can manipulate things like, JFK and Roswell until more facts actually come out. So let's what does that Saki crappy lady say? Let's circle back, shall we?
Yeah, we'll circle
Let's
back.
circle back.
Hey, before we get to JFK, I do want to ask you something, because that's pretty profound when you put it in perspective on how they put things in movies as science fiction, right? But they're actually implementing either a belief or an experience. And you often wonder sometimes, these writers, how do they have such that scope of imagination, right? But then you think, and it's just like, when did people start thinking like this? But then the more you think about it, the human species for thousands of years have always been probably more connected spiritually or with the universe than the indoctrinated mind today. Because now we have this technology and we don't take our faces out of the phone, so we don't give ourselves the chance to live and feel that spiritual freedom, right?
Right.
So true.
So when you think about, the longevity of the belief system in regards to spiritual beings, UFOs, aliens, you look in mid times, Renaissance time era, the paintings of UFOs and pictures with Jesus.
Right.
why is it now that, is it just because technology, but why does it now seem more and more people are exploring these avenues? Or has it always been like this? We're just noticing it.
It has always been like this, and we are just noticing it because all the way back to even the Mayans,
Right.
and with all the pyramids, this is how they would do it. It's the key word is control. Okay, you control the masses, you're good to go. So what they would do is they would suppress knowledge. And they would keep the masses dumbed down, while the ones in power knew true knowledge. For example, astronomy or the planets and everything, and eclipses. Well, the guys in the black robes and stuff that would go up to the top of the pyramids, they're like, you are all getting out of control. You're thinking too freely. You need to obey or the gods will be angry. And they would be like, whatever. And then boom, the eclipse would come. So they would all freak out, and they're like, we must appease the gods. So what do they do then? Population control. Start lining people up the steps, take them to the top, chop their head off, rip out their heart, throw the body down the steps. Less people, easier to control. But also teaching a lesson.
People doing that shit to me. I don't want my head ripped off, and I don't want no one pulling my heart
no.
out.
But I'm saying it has gone. It has happened since that far back.
Right.
It's always been a way, and that's why that's why you have eugenicists.
Yep.
Bill Gates and all them. They're all eugenicists. They're all about Ted Turner. They want to eliminate a large sum of the population.
That's a fact. We talked about the Georgia Guidestones on this program.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is their 10 commandments in a sense. And
that's legitimate, dude. That's a legitimate thing. That's not a theory, because even Bill Gates' father was the board of directors or the president of Planned Parenthood. So it generationally goes back to the connection with Hitler, World War II, the Gates family, Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger. I mean, dude, you just start going down that path, and if you have that much of a freaking brain, common sense would be like, wow. We are living in a matrix of disgusting grossness. Felt good to say grossness.
I'm sure it did. Don't let him forget to go back to JFK.
Let's go to JFK before we get way deep here, because I'm feeling deepness happening, brother.
Yeah. Oh, well, we could go all night, but the whole JFK thing. There's so many theories. Multiple shooters. The shooter down in the drainage ditch was why the umbrella guy raised his umbrella, because he couldn't see over the hill, and that was his signal to fire. And then there's the videos, people saying, look, it's the driver. He turns around, he shoots, and then takes off.
I've seen that stuff.
Then there's also the footage that says that one of the Secret Service agents that was on the car behind the motorcade car had a rifle or shotgun, and when he heard the first shot, he pulled his gun out, and the trigger got pulled by accident, and is said that could have been one of the shots that launched him forward.
Let me ask you, brother. Let me ask you this: what do you think the reasoning was behind having to take him out? What's your conclusion? Do you think it was a mafia thing? Do you think it had to do with much bigger, sinister type of...
It was a huge recipe that was in the works for a while, and a lot of elements, groups of people were involved, the mafia and all them, but it was compartmentalized, so nobody knew all the components, and that was also to help with misdirection, and
kind of sounds just like 9/11.
Man, don't get him off track. That's probably a whole different discussion.
That's a whole show.
But anyway, so the purpose was one, he didn't want to go to war. He didn't want Vietnam. He basically said in front of the world in his speech about, the corrupt people in the world, the military industrial complex, how they do things in secret, and then we shouldn't have. He was going to destroy the CIA. He was going to break it up. And they didn't like that. And Bush, Well, he wanted to be the head of the CIA. So he had his little bit involved in that. But yeah, he was like, he was a truther. I mean, he was
So
yeah,
so
he was
so
he was
so
a
in a
truther. And
sense,
that's why I
it's,
started
so
off.
this is as far as I'm going to go, and then let's divert back because I want to ask you about, I think, Junior.
Okay.
But when you look at Kennedy and how Kennedy pushed back at a lot of what was becoming the norm back at that time, really was comparable to, I'm going to say it, and some people are going to lose their shit, but comparable to kind of what Trump went through. Because Trump went up against a lot of those same corrupt systems, and they had the money, the power, the media to sit there and completely create mass chaos for 4 years. Now, harder to get away with things these days than it would be in like Kennedy's time. But you really think about a lot of different things with communism, with Cuba, the different things going on with the unions, all the different things going on, within our country that Kennedy pushed back on. You get somebody that disrupts the narrative. And, we're talking not just a modern day average person like us. We're
Right.
talking somebody that runs empires and has money beyond what I could imagine having. And their world's a lot different than ours. So it's a lot more catastrophic. What are your thoughts on that comparison?
Well, I think so, except that one individual lady, she kind of got her claws on Junior's plane during the
Whoops.
Whoop.
and yep.
You'll have to
I know I was-
refresh. You'll have to refresh your camera.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
oh,
can.
yeah.
We got you.
Yep.
Okay. Well, at
Yeah,
least I'm not doing a funny face in the freeze. So you want me to refresh my?
Here, yeah, go ahead. Hang on just a second. There, I put it back
If
on
you
our
wanna leave-
screen, but we can still hear you.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna refresh.
Yep.
Yeah, and if
Dude,
you-
there's so many damn.
There's a whole lot of glitching going on too.
Oh, no.
I'm like, this has got to be somebody jacking with him.
No, I'm just saying that the last 5 subjects that we covered in the last 40 minutes is literally a whole show's worth. Literally a whole show's worth. There he
Yeah,
is.
there he is.
Bam.
All right.
Ron was focused, man. Ron was focused.
I was watching it.
All right,
okay.
so we got 10 minutes, brother, and so
Okay.
let's stab on this more of a modern day type of conspiracy. We got to get you back because I want to talk about some more UFO stuff, things that are going on within the country of the UFOs. I know you're part of a huge event that you produce, right? Is it your event?
Disclosure Con. Yeah. I put that on each year up here on the mountain, and I have some amazing speakers from around the world that come out and speak. And it's a lot of fun. I'm also a panelist on Third Phase of the Moon, which is like the #1 UFO channel on YouTube. And I've been very honored to be a part of that team. And we've done some cool stuff. We did Countdown to Disclosure, which is on Amazon, Unidentified channel, a bunch of platforms. And it was #1, right when they did the countdown we had the title Countdown to Disclosure. And then after we were setting that up, then they were like, we're going to do a 180-day countdown to disclosure. We're like, okay. So during COVID, we worked on that movie. Brent and Blake Cousins were directing us from Hawaii, while each of us panelists in our own states, we would go and do interviews with people. And we put together this great movie with Dr. Stephen Greer, who put together the disclosure movement. And it was #3 on Amazon Prime documentaries for a couple months. So we're really, really proud of that because it was new stuff. It wasn't just, let's just rehash stuff, Roswell and all that. It was new, fresh, and everybody loved it. But anyway, so yeah. See, I did it again. I digressed. Where was I going with all this?
Dude, I was flowing with you. See, this is the beautiful thing about ADHD is that it just goes in whatever direction it's supposed to. And just so you know, just to remind you, for the next event, I do know a couple guys that have this outstanding mobile radio unit. And, if
we do.
If you got a spot, man, we can live broadcast the entire event, and And we make that shit look sexy as hell, bro. I'm just saying, we wear cowboy boots. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
So, Doc, is this Countdown to Disclosure, the secret technology behind the Space Force?
That's a lot of extra title. If that was it.
It's
Amazon
got,
Prime?
yeah, it's got Dr.
It's got a
Stephen
jet on
Greer.
it, right? Yeah, it's got a jet, like a
Yeah, a jet.
F-15 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
That's
it says
the movie, yeah.
the secret technology behind the Space Force is the additional title. It's got Brent Cousins, Blake Cousins directors, Michael Saya.
And here's the cool thing about it. I had a really good friend that I met at the UFO conference a couple years ago named Jim Goodall. Got to have you guys talk to him. He worked on the SR-71 project. And just this year, he got a private tour of Skunk Works from the head of Skunk Works, because he makes these photo books of all the, top spy planes and stuff. They're like tabletop books for your coffee table.
Yeah.
But the head of Skunk Works said, I want to come give you a tour. So we got a skunk statue and everything. Anyway, so
Nice.
So he came to help me move into my new home. And while we were sitting at the kitchen table, Blake and Brent called me and said, "Hey, we're starting to work on this movie, Countdown to Disclosure, and this is what we want to do. Do you know in any way we could get a hold of Bob Lazar?" And I'm like, "Bob Lazar? And I'm looking at Jim, who happens to be Bob Lazar's best friend. So you know who Bob Lazar is, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, we know him.
Okay. And so so he called right after Tucker Carlson talked about the Tic Tac video, right? So we called him to say, "Hey, what do you think?" And it was really awesome, because the footage is Jim on the phone at my kitchen table talking to Bob Lazar, and I'm like a kid at a candy store behind me. Oh my God, Bob Lazar knows my name,
I would have been too. You see how I zoomed in when he started?
Dude, it zoomed in right when you were doing that. That was perfect timing. Oh,
Hey,
it
close
just,
up.
dude, that was like produced. Damn.
So
I would have been
anyways,
too, Doc. I would have been like, "Oh my God, Bob Lazar is on the phone in my living room." That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. So that's all in the movie. You won't see me, but I get credit and all that. And it's just been a pleasure. Oh, I've also got to be. They did a Men in Black documentary where I'm the Men in Black,
Shoot,
and
dude.
and there's two of me.
All right,
And
no,
it was a lot of
is
fun.
the Men in Black, the Men in Black, they're like clearing stuff. I don't know how to explain it, but they're like above
Majestic.
like things that clearances that we probably don't even know the names of.
Cosmic. It's like cosmic level.
Dude, I want
Majestic is,
cosmic level shit, dude.
There's like 23 levels above the president's clearance. Yeah.
Wow.
Holy crap!
Yeah. And that's like
That's
cosmic
why.
is
That's
is
why
like
the president
that's where you-
can never disclose anything.
Right.
because he doesn't know anything, because he doesn't
Yeah.
have access to it. You got to remember, he is a temporary employee.
Yeah.
So the ones that are going to get
Yeah.
to see everything are going to be these asshole senators that get to squat in their Senate seat for like 50 years.
Yeah.
And because they have longevity, they know to keep their mouths shut. They're allowed to be put on these board of directors for all these projects. So
Oh.
Makes a
But
lot
dude,
of sense to me.
there's so much, we could talk about. Like the JFK, and I actually, the one time my YouTube video was taken down within minutes after I posted it, and I was given a huge warning and slash, or red flag. I did a video where I didn't say a word. It was just typed messages on the
Yeah.
screen and footage of JFK Jr. speaking, stuff about him flying and how there was a what do you call it, a press officer for the Coast Guard who called in Good Morning America the next morning, and he was giving a play-by-play of what the Coast Guard was doing to find JFK Jr.'s plane, when in fact, if you listen to it closely, it was JFK Jr. that was on the phone. Because if you're going to plot your own death or stage your death, because Hillary had an altimeter bomb in his plane, and his security team found it. And so they took it out, and they waited a week, and they planned some stuff out. And that's when he grabbed his wife and his sister-in-law. They left their dog for the very first time. They always took their dog everywhere. And they left it in a kennel because they knew they were going to have to bail out. When they had friends in the Navy, the SEALs on that, they were waiting for them to pick them up. But So if you want to keep it tight and controlled and you don't want too many people knowing about it, you're going to make that call yourself. Just change your voice a little bit. Well, if you listen to that voice, and I'll send you guys the video because it can't be on YouTube because
I would love to see it.
But if you listen to the voice comparison, the guy that's reporting it on Good Morning America sounds exactly as he does it speaking. But then you take the Q movement video, you know, the big long one, and it has that guy talking real. That's him too.
So that's why
I posted that, and within minutes, YouTube took it down.
So that's why everybody was gathered at Dealey Plaza here about a month ago, waiting for JFK Jr. to come and make an announcement.
I had a buddy show up, and he was there. He was there.
Yeah.
He got there like 12 hours early with the lawn chair, and that
Your friend,
one of my employees. He was ready.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about that, Doc?
About Vincent Fusco,
Who's that?
also known as JFK Jr.
Oh,
Yeah,
in disguise.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, he was into theatrics. He was into makeup and art and acting. And he said he would do whatever it took to bring everybody down. So you stage your own death. And he was best friends with Donald Trump then too.
you know, here's the thing. You know, it when people can really jump into those rabbit holes. I've never really did a lot of research on this, brother, and I'm glad you're bringing it up. But here, the crazy world. I mean, you look at Operation Northwoods and the levels of things that were going on with JFK right now. So, you know, the JFK family, just like the Bush family and the Clintons, I mean, these people are very powerful globally, right? When you understand that world, it's not the world that's the same as ours. It's a whole different world. You know what I mean? So is that plausible for somebody to stage their death to protect themselves and their family and certain information? It sure really is. If we're willing to assassinate other dictators of other countries in plain sight, why would it not be plausible to stage your own death?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what they do is they stage things like Operation the ship that supposedly was struck upon, and that's why we went into Vietnam.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay. The head of the Navy who filed that report, okay, his name was Admiral Morrison. His son was Jim Morrison. And Jim Morrison was in Aurora Valley, Coral Valley, wherever.
We got about 30 seconds, Doc.
Oh, we'll do this another time.
Yeah, no, let's do it.
Yeah, we need to do it another time.
Folks, you've just been introduced to our brother, Doc Thompson.
That would be Doc Skinner.
Doc Skinner. What am I thinking, Doc Thompson?
Because he has the Mojo 50. That's right.
Oh,
I almost said it a couple of times too.
You
Doc,
docs.
stay right there. Rocky and I'll be back with you
Doc
after the show.
Skinner.
Thank you, brother, very much. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, folks, don't go anywhere. Doc Skinner on the program. You're going to see it. We're going to let him know right after the program of when you're going to come back on, because we just scratched the surface on a bunch of different things. So now it's time to jump in, folks. Abnormalrealities.com, InsaneCustomTumblers.com, and, of course, RomikaDesigns.com. Brother Rob Phillips, man, take us home,
guys,
baby.
It's great to be back tonight. We should be back here tomorrow night. I'm not on the morning show again until Wednesday morning. Brad's not back in town, so we'll see you guys then. Thank you so much for joining us. We do have another guest this week, by the way,
Yes,
on Wednesday.
we do. Earl Grey.
Earl Grey.
Come on, baby.
See you guys tomorrow night.